Hey guys, I'm just back with another quick video. In my last one, when I uploaded the Gozer Gate zoom background, one of the comments I got in that video was that I should do a zoom background of a roller coaster. And I thought that's a good idea, except I didn't want to have the same problem I've seen with other roller coaster zoom backgrounds, where the point of view is facing forward, even though the person in the Zoom meeting would be facing toward the camera, which means they'd be riding the ride backwards. So I wanted to try to fix that, and I knew the best way to do that would be to reverse some roller coaster footage so that it appears as if you're sitting in the back cart and you can see the track kind of flying behind you. And I started thinking, like, what's a good ride that I can kind of fake that with? And the best one I can come up with was Full Throttle at Six Flags Magic Mountain. So I decided I was going to create sort of a loop where it looks like the roller coaster just kind of never ends. So the first thing I did was I reversed the footage. The original roller coaster footage, for those of you who do not know, looks like this. Then you wait for a little bit inside the tunnel, and it launches you backwards. So that's the original ride. So if you run it backwards, as you can see, the track flies behind you as if you were in the back cart of the ride looking towards the camera, which works out really well. This part here with the tunnel, though, kind of messes it up because you go forward then backward, and you do that in the real ride, but people unfamiliar with the ride will just think it looks weird, they don't understand what's happening. So I decided to cut that part out. So I wanted it to loop fairly seamlessly, so what I did was actually cut it where it's in the tunnel, cut out the whole waiting, cut out the forward-backward part, so now you just blast through the tunnel. And we're starting our loop at the tunnel because it's like a natural cut point. And then, when we get to the start of the normal track, but the end of our reversed track, I did a couple of things here. First, as you can see, I did a film dissolve. Let me mute this top layer. I did a film dissolve, so it dissolves from one to the other, and then goes from the end of the ride, just now the beginning of our ride, through all the way to the end where we get back into the tunnel. Okay? So it loops. But it didn't look quite right with just this film dissolve. It's kind of noticeable. And even though it'll be in the background of a Zoom meeting, you're not really going to fool anybody into thinking you're on an actual roller coaster. I still thought I could probably make it a little bit better if I did some masks. So on this here, I just copied the part of the roller coaster we were already on, and I basically just drew a quick dirty mask just around the track, and then feathered it actually I feathered it very little, just 3 points, and basically now that track stays there as like a focal point until the camera shifts so much that it makes sense for it to just dissolve into the track below. So there's also a film dissolve at the end of this. So now, if I watch the whole thing back, there's no sound because obviously you don't want sound in a Zoom meeting, and I think they muted anyway, so there's no sound. But we can watch this play on a loop. I have the loop option turned on here, and we can see how this looks. And because it's just going to loop over and over again, it doesn't matter that we start in the tunnel. Nobody really knows where the start point is or where the end point is unless they've been on the ride a bunch, and then they'll just assume the video starts where the ride starts. So it all kind of works out there. It's not a super noticeable transition when you begin and end, but it is if you've been on the ride. Like, you can see things just go by, then we go up to the top of the loop, and we go through, and as we get into the tunnel here, we're just going to shoot through it and out the other side, and the video will actually loop at that moment. And it's actually pretty seamless as far as the loop goes. The biggest thing is, of course, that transition from facing one direction to facing the other direction, where the film dissolve happens. I'm trying to figure out a way to make that look a little better if I possibly can. I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to do, though. because it is such a big difference. On one end, as you can see, we have these big structures and a nice clear blue sky, but that's it. And on this end, you can see just this trees and the park and the sidewalk, and like there's just a big difference there, which is why I try to keep this one here as long as I possibly can before fading that out. But yeah, it's getting there. I'm going to post the link to this one in the description down below as well. If you're interested in using this background in your Zoom meetings, feel free to do so. If anybody asks you where you got it from, just point them to this video on my channel. Hopefully they'll subscribe if they like it. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I do have some new content coming up very soon. So until next time, keep being awesome. There's a link down in the description below so you can have access to this virtual background completely free. And I'm doing that one because I don't own Ghostbusters, so I couldn't charge for it if I wanted to, but mainly because I want to help people during these trying times who maybe are getting a little bored in their Zoom meetings. Maybe this is a way to make the meeting a little more interesting. Try to up the game of virtual backgrounds, so it's not